I had just broken the lock on my husband's secret briefcase. I'm staring at my own obituary. It says I died on April 15th. That's 21 days from today. My name is at the top. My photograph, the one from our wedding, is in the corner. There's a date of birth, a date of death, and a 2-paragraph summary of my life, written in the past tense. Someone typed it, formatted it, printed it, and placed it in a locked case in our attic. My husband has been in the shower for 6 minutes. He takes exactly 9. I have 3 minutes to put everything back exactly the way I found it. I am not going to cry, I am not going to shake, I am going to photograph every page, close the case, replace the lock, walk downstairs, and make coffee. And then I'm going to figure out how to survive the next 21 days. My name is Claire. I'm 38 years old. I've been married to Daniel for 9 years. I want to be precise about who Daniel is because the story I'm about to tell you depends on understanding that he is not the kind of man who appears dangerous. He is an estate attorney. He is methodical, pleasant, and well-liked by everyone who meets him. He coaches a youth soccer team on Sunday mornings. He knows every neighbor's name. He brings wine when we're invited to dinner. He is, by every external measure, an exceptionally good husband. He's also, I now understand, an exceptionally good planner. The briefcase had been in the attic for as long as I could remember. I had noticed it in the passive way you notice things you're not supposed to touch, and filed it under work documents without further examination. Daniel kept a small number of things that were designated as private: the briefcase, a locked drawer in his home office, and a password on his personal laptop that I had never asked for. I had never asked because I trusted him. That is what I want you to understand. I was not suspicious. I was not looking for anything. I went into the attic on a Tuesday afternoon to find a box of winter clothes, and I saw the briefcase in a different position than I remembered it being in, slightly tilted, as if it had been moved recently and replaced at an angle that wasn't quite right. I stood there for a long time. Then I went downstairs and got a flathead screwdriver. The lock was the kind that yields to a thin blade inserted at the right angle. It took me 4 minutes. I know because I was counting. Inside, a printed document on cream-colored paper, formatted like an obituary, my name at the top, my photograph, a date, 3 weeks in the future. And beneath the obituary, a life insurance policy. Our joint policy, which I knew about, we had taken it out 7 years ago. But this one had been modified. The payout had been doubled, effective last month, with a new beneficiary clause that I had not signed. Beneath the insurance policy, a series of printed emails between Daniel and a contact saved only as R. The most recent email, dated 6 days ago, contained 3 words: "Everything is on schedule." I need to go back 3 months because the briefcase didn't explain everything. It confirmed things I had noticed, but had not named. In January, I slipped on the back stairs, the stairs I had used every day for 9 years without incident, on a morning when Daniel had been the last person in that part of the house. I had dismissed it as clumsiness. I was wearing socks. The stairs were wood. It was morning. In February, I became violently ill after a dinner Daniel had cooked. A specific dish I had requested, something with mushrooms, something I had eaten dozens of times before. I spent 2 days unable to get out of bed. Daniel had been attentive, kind, and present the entire time, bringing water and medication, watching me recover from a chair at the side of the bed, with an expression I had interpreted as concern. In March, my car had a brake issue that the mechanic described as unusual. Not a failure exactly, but a degradation that he said was unlikely to be natural wear, given the car's age and mileage. He asked if anyone else had access to the vehicle. I said my husband sometimes drove it. He nodded and said nothing more. I had absorbed each of these events separately. I filed them the way I filed the briefcase, under categories that felt harmless: clumsiness, bad food, mechanical wear. Sitting on the attic floor with an obituary in my hands, I retrieved every filed item and re-examined it in a new light. The pattern was not subtle. I had simply not been looking for one. I put the briefcase back. I walked downstairs. I made coffee. Daniel came down 8 minutes later, hair still damp, and said good morning. I said good morning. I handed him his coffee. He kissed me on the cheek. I smiled. That was the moment I understood what I was dealing with. Not a man who had made a plan, but a man who had made a plan and believed completely that he was the only one capable of making one. He was wrong. I had 21 days, and I had something he didn't know I had, the photographs. I did not call the police that morning. I want to explain why, because it's the decision people ask about most. An obituary is not a crime. A doubled insurance policy is not a crime. He had forged my signature, which is fraud, but proving it would require an investigation that would alert him. The emails were circumstantial. The accidents were unprovable. I had photographs on a phone he could demand to see at any moment. What I had was not enough, not yet. What I needed was a paper trail that couldn't be dismissed, dismantled, or explained away. I spent the next 4 days building it. I contacted the print shop listed at the bottom of the obituary document, a small independent shop 3 towns over. I did not go in person. I sent a friend, someone Daniel had never met, with a cover story about a journalism project. She confirmed that a custom document had been ordered using a private digital wallet 2 weeks earlier and picked up in person by a man matching Daniel's description. I accessed Daniel's home office on a day he was in court. I had known his schedule for 9 years, a fact he had apparently not considered relevant. His personal laptop was password protected, but his desktop was not. The desktop contained a folder marked Estate Research. Inside the folder, the original digital file for the obituary, created on his office computer, time-stamped. The metadata linked the file to his professional account. The life insurance modification had been processed through a broker Daniel used for client accounts. I requested a copy of the policy on the grounds that I was a named party, which I was as the deceased. The broker's assistant sent it without hesitation. The signature on the modification form was not mine. I had my actual signature on file in 12 places. The comparison was not even close. I photographed everything. I copied everything. I sent encrypted copies to 3 separate locations. A lawyer I had retained without telling Daniel, a safety deposit box I opened under my maiden name, and a cloud account on a device Daniel didn't know I owned. On day 7, I had enough. I did not act on it. I waited. On day 9, Daniel left his phone on the kitchen counter while he showered. This was not unusual. What was unusual was that a message appeared on the screen from a contact labeled R. It said, "Confirm the location is still the plan." I had 40 seconds. I knew because he takes exactly 9 minutes in the shower, and I had already counted 7. I opened the message thread. The conversation went back 4 months. I read as quickly as I could, photographing each screen. R was a woman. Her real name I found later. She was a former paralegal at Daniel's firm, someone who had left abruptly 18 months ago. In the messages, they discussed what they called the arrangement. The arrangement involved the insurance payout, a property Daniel owned in his mother's name that I had not known existed, and a timeline that ended in their language with Claire's accident on April 15th. They had been specific about the method. I will not reproduce it here. I put the phone back on the counter with 30 seconds to spare. I went to the refrigerator and got a glass of water. When Daniel came downstairs, I was reading a book. He asked if I wanted to take a walk. I said, "Oh, sure." We walked for 40 minutes. He held my hand the whole time. On day 14, exactly 1 week before the date on my obituary, my lawyer filed a civil fraud complaint regarding the forged insurance signature. Daniel was served at his office. He called me immediately. His voice was controlled. Daniel's voice is always controlled. But there was something underneath it I had never heard before. He said, "Claire, this is a misunderstanding. The insurance paperwork, I can explain." I said, "I'm sure you can." He said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm safe." I hung up. I was already in a different city. The fraud complaint was the first domino. Once the insurance company began their own investigation, triggered automatically by a forgery complaint from a named beneficiary, the digital trail I had assembled became relevant to a much larger inquiry. The metadata on the obituary file linked to Daniel's professional account, which was connected to 3 client estates he managed. The investigators found irregularities in 2 of them, money that had moved in ways that beneficiaries had not authorized, signatures that were not quite right. Daniel was not just planning to collect on my life insurance. He had been doing this to clients for years. R, the woman from the messages, was arrested at her apartment on day 16. She cooperated almost immediately. Prosecutors later told me she had provided documentation of her own that she had apparently kept as insurance against exactly this outcome. Daniel was arrested on day 17, 2 days before the date printed on my obituary. He has not spoken to me since the arrest. His attorney has contacted mine on several occasions. I have not responded to any of it. The criminal case is ongoing. I cannot discuss specifics. What I can tell you is that the charges include fraud, conspiracy, and a third category that I will not name here because the case is active and my attorney has advised against it. I am still in the other city. I like it here. The house is listed for sale. I signed the paperwork last week. My signature, my actual signature, is on every page. The night before I left, Daniel and I had dinner. I had cooked. I want to note that specifically, I had cooked, and I had been the only one who handled the food, and I had watched it every moment. I am aware of what that says about where we had arrived. He talked about a case he was working on. He talked about the weekend, suggesting a trip we had discussed months ago, a place on the coast that I had said I wanted to visit. He was warm, he was attentive. He poured my wine, asked about my sister, and laughed at something I said. I watched him the way you watch someone when you know something they don't. There is a specific quality to that kind of attention. Not anger, not grief, not even fear. Something more like the crystalline focus of a person who has reduced a situation to its essential variables and is now simply executing. He had made a plan. I had made a better one. After dinner, he loaded the dishwasher. He kissed me goodnight. He went upstairs. I sat at the kitchen table for a long time. Then I took the go bag from the back of my closet, packed over the previous 13 days, one item at a time, while he was at work, and I walked out the door. I did not look back. Looking back is for people who aren't sure they made the right decision. I was sure. When investigators searched the house on day 17, they found the briefcase, still in the attic, still locked. Except the lock had been replaced, Daniel had noticed the original had been compromised. He had put a new one on. Inside the new lock was a different document, not an obituary, a revised insurance policy, new date, new method, new timeline. He had updated the plan, he just hadn't accounted for the fact that I had already left, and that every document in that briefcase, old and new, had already been photographed, filed, and delivered to 3 separate locations 14 days earlier. I've been asked many times what the moment was, the single moment when I knew, for certain. People expect the answer to be the obituary, finding your own death date printed on cream paper in your husband's locked briefcase. That should be the moment. That should be the thing that breaks through. It wasn't. The moment was the coffee. The morning after I found the briefcase, I handed him his coffee and he kissed me on the cheek and said good morning and smiled, and I smiled back. And I understood in that exact second that he had been doing this performing warmth, performing normalcy, performing the role of the man I had married for long enough that it had become indistinguishable from the real thing, which meant I could do it too. I had 9 years of practice. The criminal case will take as long as it takes. I am cooperating fully. I have retained a civil attorney in addition to the criminal proceedings. There are financial claims related to the insurance fraud and the client estate irregularities that my attorney believes are recoverable. I am not in a hurry. Daniel spent 4 months building a plan that depended on my not knowing it existed. I spent 21 days building a case that depended on his believing I didn't. The difference between us is not intelligence. We are, I think, comparably intelligent people. The difference is that he underestimated me and I did not make the same mistake about him. If you are in a situation where something is wrong and you cannot yet prove it, document everything, date everything, copy everything, tell no one in your immediate circle, find a lawyer before you find the police, and don't run until you have somewhere safe to go and something to leave behind. The goal is not to escape. The goal is to make sure they can't either. One more thing. The obituary they found in the briefcase, the one Daniel had written with my photograph and my name and the date he had chosen for me, had a small error in it. He had gotten my middle name wrong. He had known me for 11 years and he didn't know my middle name. I don't know why. Of everything, that's the detail I keep coming back to. But it is